Welcome to my revision course on CPA Paper 1 Financial Accounting. My name is Senior Hannington, your accounting tutor. Of course, it's my privilege to help you to get through this November exam. Today, I intend to look at bank reconciliations. And of course, the first question I thought I would do is Mabugu Traders from CPA Financial Accounting, August 2019. Of course, then after, I intend to look at some other questions about bank reconciliations later. So there we are, August 2019. Of course, you're most welcome on my YouTube channel. If it's your first time, most welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, you need to download the August 2019 question paper, that is financial accounting, from the iSpal website. All right, what I need to do now is to get to the question. That is question, we are doing question is this? Is it question 3, question 4? We are doing question 5, part C. Of course, there is part A and then part C. So we are going to concentrate more on part C. So there we are. That's our question about bank reconciliation statement. Remember, there is a first video I shared, which where most of the issues about bank reconciliations were discussed. So please check that video out from my YouTube channel. It will help you as well, in addition to what I'm going to discuss here. Yeah, so that's our question. Let's first look at the requirements of the question and see. You need to see what the examiner requires you to do. In this case, we are required to prepare for Mabugu Traders as at 31st March 2019, an adjusted cash book, as well as a bank reconciliation statement. So those are the requirements of the question. 7 marks plus the 6 marks, making it 13 marks in total for this particular question. All right, let's try to look at the question now and see the information we have. We have seen the requirements, adjusted cash book, and then the bank reconciliation statement. The following information relates to the bank transactions of Mabugu Traders for the month of March 2019. The cash book, bank column. Don't forget, under bank reconciliations, whenever we talk about the cash book, just know that we are referring to the bank column of the cash book. Don't forget that. So the cash book had a debit balance of 160,054,000, while the bank statement had a credit balance of shillings 245,641,000 as at 31st March 2019. So you see, the two balances are not the same. And whenever the balance as per the cash book is different from the balance as per the bank statement, then we have to do what we call bank reconciliation. On further examination, the cashier discovered the following discrepancies. So these are some of the reasons as to why the two balances were not in agreement. On 12th March, a payment to Mabugu Traders from Budadili Traders by a direct deposit of shilling 3.5 M was not cleared by the bank due to insufficient funds on the letters account. The bank fined Budadili Traders shillings 250,000. So here we see a direct credit or a direct deposit that was made on the business's bank account. However, this check was dishonored, or this payment was dishonored, and as a result, payments were not made, and the deposit was not accepted. So, on assumption that Mabugu Traders had debited their cash book, we have to cancel out this cash book. We have to cancel out this direct deposit from their cash book. So in part A, as you're adjusting your cash book, you'll have to debit. Is it debit? You'll have to credit the adjusted cash book of Mabugu traders by 3 point what? By 3.5. Why a credit? This was a payment that was made by one of maybe the customers, Mabugu traders. Sorry, by one of the customers of Mabugu traders, that is Budadili traders. Budadili made a payment, but it was by direct deposit. However, this payment was not cleared by the bank due to insufficient funds on Budadili's traders. So we have to cancel out this payment on assumption that Mabugu traders had debited the bank column of the cash book. So we have to credit our cash book to cancel out the payment that was made. Okay, so I'm going to be putting some extra notes here for purposes of you understanding the different treatments on what we are going to do on each and every note. So on this, it's a dishonored check, of course, as I've told you. So this is a dishonored. It's a dishonored. Assuming it was a payment, we can say this payment was this all. This payment was dishonored. Can we call it a dishonored check? Okay, dishonored checks of 3.5. So what do you have to do? You have to credit your adjusted cash book. Yeah, we have to cancel it out since it was a payment to Mabugu traders. So we have to cancel out this from our cash book. So when we are updating our cash book, this will appear on the credit side. This will appear on the credit. This will appear on the credit side. It will appear on the credit side. So I'm going to do, let me try to use yeah, because we are talking about the 3 millions. This. However, for the 2.5, you also need to know how to deal with the 2.5. Now, for the 2.5, this is a fine. The bank fined Budadili traders shillings 250 because they knew they had insufficient funds and they are still going ahead to make a direct deposit. So the bank charged them 250. Now, this is not part. This is not part of the reconciliation exercise of Mabugu traders. This fine does not affect the Mabugu traders. It affects Budadili traders. So this is out of our exercise. So we don't need that in our adjusted cash book as well as in the bank reconciliation statement. Then note 2, note 2, note 2, note 2. On 15th March, Wekomba Limited made a direct transfer of shillings 16,300,000 to Mabugu traders bank account. This information had not yet been reflected in the cash book of Mabugu traders by 31st March. So this was a direct transfer made by Wekomba Limited, but of course this has not yet been reflected in the cash book. So what do you have to do with this? What you have to do with this, you have to adjust your cash book. Okay, you have to adjust your cash book by debiting this amount. So this was a direct credit made. A direct credit. So debit your adjusted cash book. Simple. Debit the adjusted cash book. So there was a direct transfer made by Wekomba to Mabugu Traders bank account. But of course, this information has not yet been reflected in the cash book of Mabugu Traders by 31st March. So what you have to do when you're updating Mabugu Traders cash book, you debit this amount of 16,300,000. Then on 20th March, a customer paid Mustafa shillings 4,360,000 by check. The bank erroneously credited this payment to Mabugu Traders bank account. The customer was paying Mustafa shillings 4,360,000 by check, but now the bank erroneously credited this payment to Mabugu Traders account. Now this is a bank error. This is a bank error. The bank made an error. Some amount was recorded on the bank account of Mabugu Traders, yet it was for someone else. So this is a bank error. So this is a bank error to be dealt with in the bank reconciliation statement. Bank errors are not corrected from the cash book. So what you have to do, of course, you have to inform the bank about this error, and then the bank will adjust it. I will adjust your bank statement if it accepts that an error was made. So for what you have to do when you're preparing the bank reconciliation statement, in your bank reconciliation statement, you have to deal with this error and make the adjustments, okay, in your bank reconciliation statement calculation. Being that it's a bank error, we don't correct this from our adjusted cash book. Don't forget that. Still, let me put for you notes that this is not a cash book item, not a cash book item. Okay, so don't forget that. It does not affect your cash book because it's a bank error. Okay, then we move. A cash deposit of shillings 1,282,000 by Mabugu Traders was entered in error by the bank as a credit of shillings 1,228,000. Still, this is a bank error. This is still a bank error. So we don't need to take this anyway in our. This is a bank error. This is a bank error. Okay. It's a bank error. Okay, this is a bank error. A bank error. It's not a cashable item. So we shall deal with that when it comes to the bank reconciliation statement calculation. Then Mabugu Traders paid Sironko Traders by check shillings 12,460,000, but recorded it as a credit of shillings 11,460 in the cash book. Now this is the cash book error. The error was made in the cash book. The error was made in the cash book. So we need to know how to deal with this. Just a small note here. This is a cash book error. So adjust your cash book. Of course, it was a payment by IT's payment to local traders by check of 12,460, but recorded it as a credit of shillings 11,460 in the cash book. Yes, it should be a credit, but of course, there was an undercast. Adjust your cash book. There was an undercast. How much is the difference between 12,460 and 11,460? Difference of 1 million. Yes, difference of 1 million. Undercast of 1M on credit. Side of the cash book. So what you have to do when you're adjusting this, just add 1 million on the credit of the cash book. You will add 1 million on the credit of the cash book to account for the undercast of 1M that was made. Then from there, let's go to the next notes. Let's move to the next notes. We move to note 6. Let us move to note 6. According to note 6, we have been told that Mabugu traders, okay, on 22nd March, Oundo made a direct credit transfer of shillings 5,140,000 to Mabugu traders bank account. The cash book had not been updated with this payment. Okay, so this is a direct credit. This is a direct credit. Direct credit. So adjust the cash book with a debit entry. Adjust the cash book with a debit entry of shillings 5,140,000. Adjust the cash book with a debit entry of shillings 5,140,000. Then in note 7, the following checks were deposited in the bank by Mabugu traders on 30th March, but were not reflected on the bank statement. The following checks were deposited. But were not reflected on the bank statement. So we call these are uncredited checks. These are uncredited checks. Okay. The deposits were made on the bank account, but they had not yet captured this on the bank statement at the time it was received. So these are uncredited checks. And these are not adjusted cash book items. Okay. Unpresented checks. These are bank reconciliation statement items. These are adjustments to be made in the bank reconciliation statement calculation. Those are unpresent. Those are uncredited checks. So they're already in the cash book, but they were not reflected on the bank statement. So we shall have to show these as reconciling items when coming up with our bank reconciliation statement. Then, okay, so let's move to the next note. That is note 7 now. According to note 7, we have been told note 7, note 7, following checks were deposited in the bank account. I think we have finished note 7. We have finished note 7. Note 6 we finished. I think we move now to note 8. We are on note 8 now. A check payment of 7.6 million by Gagura Traders to Mabubu Traders account was debited by the bank as shilling 6.7, was debited by the bank as 6.7. This is a bank error. This is a bank error. It's a bank error. It's a bank error. Bank error. And this is a reconciling item in the bank reconciliation statement. Okay. Yeah, so we shall see how to deal with this in our bank reconciliation statement. Errors made by the cash book, please, we don't enter them. Errors made by the bank, we don't correct them from the cash book. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. Then you go to note 9, checks number that paid to clients on 31st March. We are not filling the bank statement. These were check payments, but they are not yet reflected on your bank statement. Maybe because these people or these suppliers did not present the checks to the bank for payment. Now these become, we refer to these as unpresented checks. These are unpresented checks. Of course, this is a reconciling item. These are items. Items to the bank reconciliation. The bank reconciliation statement calculation. You're going to have to deal with that. It's not a cash book item. The other transactions, during the period that we are reflected in the bank statement, but not in the cash book, were as follows. So we have some more transactions that were entered in, that were captured on the bank statement, but not yet in the cash book. So when you're updating your cash book, you have to enter all these items. Bank charges, that's a direct debit. Ledger fees, direct debit. Insurance payments, direct debit. Loan reduction, direct debit. Deposit on interest. This was a direct credit, so you have to debit your cash book. Dividend income, same direct credit. Then excise duty, these are payments, so you have to credit them. These are direct debits. So all what I have this side, for purpose of understanding, these are all direct credits. These are direct debits rather. These are all direct debits. So you will need you need to adjust your cash book with these items. Okay, credit. The adjusted cash book. Then these direct credits that were made, these are direct credits to be debited. To be debited in the adjusted cash book. Okay, that's what we have. Then the last note, that is note 11. We have been told, according to note 11, that Wagogo, who provides meals to staff, was paid by check, number that, shillings 1.5 on 23rd March. He returned it on 29th March and was given cash instead of the same amount. This payment had initially been captured in the cash book bank column. So Mabugu traders, of course, paid Wagogo by check worth 1.5 millions. But of course, this check was returned 6 days after, and this Wagogo was given cash instead of the same amount. But the payment had initially been captured in what? In the cash book. So what you have to do with this, what you have to do is very simple. Cancel out the payment. Cancel out the payment. So simply add debit the adjusted cash book. No. We don't. Yeah, debit the adjusted cash book. Debit the adjusted cash book with shillings 1.5. Because this was initially recorded as a payment, so the cash book was credited. But when the check was returned and we instead gave out cash, then we have also to cancel out the payment that was made. So we have to debit our cash book. So let us prepare our adjusted cash book very fast. Then we also look at the bank reconciliation. Let us prepare our adjusted cash book. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Senior Huntington. Don't forget to share it with your friends. As long as you believe that they will benefit from the content on this channel, then you can share all the links such that they can also learn free of charge. In case you have questions still, you can ask your questions. In case you have them, you can post your questions in the comment section. So let's prepare Mabugu Traders Adjusted Cash Book. So Mabugu Traders Adjusted Cash Book for which month? As at 31st March 2019. Adjusted Cash Book. Okay, Okay, as at, let us use as per the question, as at 31st March 2019. So of course I have to write my heading. That's the heading which I can give to my cash book. So that's my heading. Yeah, that's our heading. Here I'll have to put shillings. Then I also have to come here, I put shillings. I'm trying to set up my cash book. Then you start. So in this cash book, of course, you'll start with your opening balance as per the cash book, which was given in the question. So you start by entering that cash, that amount. So I will say balance brought down. According to the question, our balance brought down is how much? Let's check out the balance. Our balance in the first paragraph is 160 millions, 54,000. It's a debit balance. So you enter that. We have 1 million. We have 160 millions, 54,000. That's what we have. That is our opening balance. Then what you'll have to do, I believe you have been noting down the entries to make. The first transaction, we say that this was a dishonored check. It was a payment to Mabugu. The customer was paying, that is Budadi Traders. It was by direct deposit. But unfortunately, this was dishonored. So we say that we have to credit our adjusted cash book by the 3.1, by that amount of 3.5. So I'll come here and say dishonored. Dishonored. Of course, they're not talking about a check. I can say uncleared payment or uncleared direct deposit. Because can use uncleared direct deposit. I think it's the right one. Or dishonored, but of course they're not talking about a check. Okay, uncleared. Uncleared direct deposit. Uncleared direct deposit. That was of how much? That was of 3.5. Okay. That was 3.5. Then we also have we move to note 2. Note 2, Wakomba made a direct transfer of 16.3 to Mabugu Traders bank account. This information has not yet been reflected in the cash book of Mabugu Traders. This is the direct credit. So we can debit our cash book, Wakomba Limited. direct credit. Direct credit. Wekomba. Komba. This was of how much? This was 16.3. So we say that we shall debit our adjusted cash book. Then the next item we have, that is now Roman 3. We move to the third discrepancy. On 20th March, a customer paid Mustafa shilling, but this erroneous repeated this payment to the Mabugu Traders bank account. Okay, this is the bank error. We don't need this in our cash book, so I can move to note 4. Cash deposit of 1,282,000 by Mabugu Traders was entered in error by the bank as a credit. Okay, skip that. It's a bank error. Mabugu Traders paid its local traders by check, but recorded it as a credit of shillings 11,460,000 in the cash book. We said we have to credit our adjacent cash book. There was an undercast that was made. So undercast, this is an undercast in the cash book, undercast in cash book. Or undercast error, undercast error. This is 1 million, the difference. So you credit your cash book by 1 million, add back the million because less was recorded. Then we move to the next transaction. Now we move to note 6. Made a direct credit transfer of this to Mabugu Traders Bank account. The cash book are not being updated with this payment by 31st March. This is a direct credit which requires a debit entry in your adjusted cash book. This is Oundo, direct credit, Oundo. So you debit your cash book. Have another direct credit. This is Oundo. By how much? Oundo, the amount is 5,140,000. Then what else do we have? We move to note 7. Note 7, we say that those are checks deposited in the bank, but we're not referring on the bank statement. These are uncredited checks. Check payment of this by Gagura Traders to Mabugu was debited by the bank error. Note 9, those are unpresented checks. Then we have these other transactions, the direct credits and the direct debits, which we have to enter in our cash book. We have bank charges, ledger fees, insurance payments, loan deductions, then excise duties. Those can be credited in the adjusted cash book very fast. So we have the bank charges. Bank charges, that is 245,000. Check the question. You have the ledger fees. Ledger fees are how much? Let's check out the ledger fees. Ledger fees 25,000. Ledger fees you have 25,000. Then we have the excise duty. Excise duty. How much is the excise duty? That's 90,000. Okay. So these are all the debits that were made. So you have to credit your cash book adjusted. Then we have, I saw insurance something. Insurance payments of 190,000. Insurance payments. 190,000. Then I also see a loan repayment, loan deductions of 545,000, loan deductions 545,000 in respect of loan deductions. Is that it all? Then what else? What else? What else? What else? Then we also have the next note, which is about a supplier who was paid by check. No, before that, we have the dividend income and then the interest on deposit. These should be debited. They are direct credits. So capture them, reflect them on your adjusted cash book. Dividend income. Dividend income of how much? 6.5. Dividend income of 6.5. Then we also have the interest on deposit to 50,000. Interest on deposit to 50,000. So that's it all. That's it all. We have entered most of the items. Yeah, anything which is left out? No. The last note was we on the second last. Wagogo, who provides meals to staff, was paid by check. Returned it on 29th March and was given cash instead. We say that we have to debit this. We have to debit our cash book by this amount. So we can write Wagogo. Wagogo Limited to cancel out the entry that was made on the credit in the original cash book. That was 1.5. So we cancel out our check payment. So now we can balance off. We can balance off and then get our totals. Of course, when you look at this adjusted cash book, you'll see that the debit side is greater than the credit. So I'll sum up all what we have here. I'll sum up all what we have there in the debit. And then, of course, since the other side is bigger, the debit, we expect to have the same total even on the credit. So we have to insert a balancing figure on the credit side. So I'll put this total. The totals should be the same on either sides, debit and credit. But now we have to insert. So I'll say balance carried down, and I'll simply get this. Put simple format will be this total, then minus all these amounts on the credit. This gives us how much? Okay, thank you. Need to adjust my formula. So it will be my total on the debit minus the sum of all these and this gives us 184 millions, 149,000. So that will be your closing balance. That will be your closing balance in your cash book. So this is the adjusted cash book, and this is our balance, which we shall take to our balance sheet. So this is the corrected bank balance, and this is what should appear in the statement of financial position. So that is your cash book adjusted. Now let us see how we can prepare the bank reconciliation statement very fast to prove our balance as a bank statement. So you come here, you write your heading, Mabugu Traders, bank reconciliation statement as at 31st March 2019. I'll just need 2 columns for the amounts. Yeah, so now we are trying to come up with a bank reconciliation statement. Yeah, so there we go. I think now we can start on our, so I'll start with our balance. Start with the balance as per adjusted cash book. Balance as per the adjusted cash book. This balance is this. I can bring this from my updated cash book up here. Then I add it there. Then I'll say add the unpresented checks. Unpresented checks have to be added. Add the unpresented checks. Don't forget to check on my previous video where all this was explained, the format we use when preparing the bank reconciliation statement. So I have to add the unpresented checks. And when you go back to the question, you'll see on note 9 where payments were made to the clients. Different checks were issued to the clients, but the clients maybe are not present these checks to the bank for payment by the time Mabugu received the bank statement. So these are the unpresented checks. So we have to add these checks to our adjusted cash book balance. So you list them one by one. So you have check number 00105. How much is this? 00105, 25.3. So here we have 25.3. Then you also have check number. What else? You also have check number 0016. Check number 00106. This check is how much? 35,200. This is 35,200. 200. Okay, this is 35,200. 35,200,000. Then we also have check number. Check number what? Check number what? We also have check number 00107 27,346,000. You also enter that 00107. The amount is 27,346,000. Then you also have check number what? Check number 001,095 millions. You have to list them one by one. Check number 00109. I've seen this is 5 millions. Then the last check is check number 0010. This is 23.9, 2,390,000. Yes, 2,390,000. So we also put that to 390. So those are the unpresented checks which we have. So we can add all these. We can add all these checks. We can add and get the total, which I can post the last column. So that is 95,236,000. Then when we go back to our question, now the bank made some errors somewhere. There was a bank error. There was a bank error. We have different bank errors here. But yeah, look at note 3. On 20th March, a customer paid Mustafa. A customer was paying Mustafa shillings for 4,360 by check. The bank erroneously credited this payment to Mabugu Traders account. Mabugu Traders account was credited in error. So what you have to do, you have to debit Mabugu Traders account. The bank will have to debit Mabugu Traders account to cancel out the credit that was made. Okay, so the bank account of Mabugu was increased, but of course it was in error. The bank credited 4,360,000. It was in error. So what you have to do, you have to add this to the balance as per the adjusted cash book, just to cancel it out. So in your bank reconciliation statement calculation, you will come here and say bank error. This will be bank error. Bank error. This check was Mustafa's check. Mustafa's check was erroneously credited on Mabugu Traders bank account. So the bank has to adjust this. So in your cash book, when you prepare the bank reconciliation statement calculation, or you have to add this on the adjusted cash book balance. How much is this? 4,360. 4, 360. So it goes as an addition to the adjusted balance as per the cash book. So now I can add all these, have this, and I add the unpresented checks. Then you also add this error amount. That's how much we get. But then, of course, we have to less the uncredited checks. Have to less the uncredited checks. And under the uncredited checks, we can find this from note what? This is note 7. So note 7 has the uncredited checks. We are going to list them one by one. Note 7. So under these uncredited checks, you have check 2132. So the first check is 2132. 2132. Then the next check is 0345. Then 3340. 3340. Then you also have 4470 according to the question. We can look at the different amounts and we see. So there is 7,450,000, the 4 million, 5.6, then 6.7. The last one is 6.7, followed by 6.5, 5.6. Then in that order, the next is 4 millions, and then 7,450,000. So those are your uncredited checks. I try to add these. When you add these, they give us how much? I try to add these. They give us that amount, which is around, this is how much? This is 23,750,000. But of course, we have some bank errors that were made. Let's try to check on more errors. Now, the bank, when it comes to the bank errors, it will depend on the error that was made. Either some of these errors will be reconciled by an addition, others will be deducted depending on the error. So we have to first look at the error and then we see. So the other bank errors we have, let's try to check and see. There was an undercast that was made. Look at number 4. A cash deposit of 1282 by Mabugu was entered in error by the bank as a credit of 1,228,000. So there was an undercast that was made. So the difference, we can look at the difference as an amount that was not credited. So it will be part of the uncredited checks. 1282 minus 1228. There is a difference of how much? Difference of 54,000. difference of 54,000. So that amount is taken as something that was uncredited, but of course it comes as a bank error. Bank error. You can say undercast. Undercast on the credit of the bank statement. Undercast on the credit of the bank what? On the credit of the bank statement. I think this is okay. If add that, and of course I've told you that it is 50 what? It is 54. That is the difference. So it comes as part of the uncredited. There was an undercast on the credit of the bank statement. So we have that 54,000. Then there is also another error somewhere. Where is that? There was another error we need to look at. Yes, error number 8. A check payment of shilling 7.6 by Gagura traders to Mabugu traders account was debited by the bank as how much? As 6.7. A check payment by Gagura. So Gagura was making a payment to Mabugu. Mabugu was receiving the money. Okay? But the bank instead debited Mabugu's account by 6.1, by 6.7. So the bank treated this check payment as a debit. In other words, it's like Mabugu traders account was making a payment, yet the amount was supposed to be credited on the bank account of Mabugu. So what you have to do, you have to cancel out the debit on the bank account, 6.7. So you have to credit your, the bank will have to credit Mabugu's account by a double figure. That is 7.6 and then plus the 6.7. So you have to add these two, okay? To cancel out the debit that was made, then at the same time to record the credit of 7.6. So when you add the two, this gives us how much? Let me see, 6.7. This gives us 14,300,000. So this is another bank error. This is another bank error. Bank error. Check payment of this by Gagura traders. Okay. So a direct credit was erroneously entered as a direct debit, but of course the amounts were not even the same. So on correction, when we are coming up with our bank reconciliation statement calculation, these two amounts will be added and they will appear under the part of uncredited checks, 14.3. So you have to come up with your bank, with your balance, as per the bank statement. Balance as per the bank statement. So you have to get this total up minus the uncredited checks, then minus these different errors, adjustments. Then you come up with the 245,641,000. We need to check this and see if this is our, and you see if this is our bank statement balance. Yeah, we need to check this from our question and see. Yeah, so our bank statement, the bank statement of Mabubu had a credit balance of shillings 245,641,000, and in our calculation, the bank statement, the bank reconciliation statement, here we are trying to prove the balance as per the bank statement, which we have as 245,641,000. So that is the August 2019 question from CPA Financial Accounting. In my next videos, of course, I'll look at some other questions still about bank reconciliations, but let's try to use this as a revision question. But of course, I'll have to do some other questions later as I will see them on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share with friends. In case you have a question, please don't forget to ask in the comment section. Wish you the best. Thank you for watching. Thank you for learning with the Senior Huntington. Bye bye. You all.